Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S25 and see how it compares against the Samsung Galaxy S21. So let's go and see how they both compare. Now, number one, the biggest thing to keep in mind is that clearly the Galaxy S25 is probably going to be the one that might be the better one for every single person watching this. That phone is probably going to be the one that's going to be better, faster, and all that. But the S21 is still pretty decent as well. So there's probably a lot of iPhones in between that are really good too. If you want to pick up either one of these particular iPhones, if you want to pick up either one of these phones, links will be down in the description for the cheapest prices I find. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these devices, starting with the Galaxy S21, this phone came out in 2021, and on the front side, you're basically getting a 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED display. So this type of display, for the most part, does look pretty good. I do think if you are in the market and you're gonna, pick up a device, this thing really doesn't look that bad. This thing gets, okay brightness at 1300 nits. You're also still maintaining things like a 120 Hz display as well. So that in and of itself is another really nice thing. So overall, the display itself on the Galaxy S21 was always pretty decent. It really wasn't that bad. And if you were in the market and basically looking for a phone with a decent panel, this thing is a decent option. Again, it's not perfect, but I think it looks good enough for a lot of people out there. Now, on something like the Samsung Galaxy S25, this is a significantly better panel in almost every single way. The Galaxy S25 is going to be giving you the same size screen, so it is 6.2 inches here, but it's a dynamic LTPO AMOLED display. So the screen technology is better, and it definitely looks like a very, very good type of display. I would definitely say in almost every single way you can imagine, that type of panel is definitely going to be giving you a much better experience than something like the Samsung Galaxy S21, but it also gets significantly brighter. The Galaxy S25's brightness is 2600 nits of brightness, meaning that phone gets twice as bright as something as the Samsung Galaxy S21. So that right there is a very big difference. Being able to go through and pick up a phone like that and get that type of capability, that right there is a very cool thing. And that is kind of one of the biggest reasons as to why you should go ahead and buy something or consider something like a Galaxy S25. On the bottom, both of them are giving you USB Type-C ports, which is great. On the back side, the Galaxy S25 is giving you a frosted glass back, which is good, it looks great, but the Galaxy S21 is giving you this frosted plastic back. So that right there is another really good advantage. Getting something like the Galaxy S21's frosted plastic back, I think is a really, really cool thing. And I do think if you are going to go through and get some sort of device, it is a really nice thing to basically be able to think about something like the Galaxy S21. If you wanted to buy that phone, you'd have to deal with that plastic back, which really isn't that bad, but the Galaxy S25 definitely wins on the exterior as well. So definitely when you take a look at both these phones, the Samsung Galaxy S25 is giving you a better display. It's going to be giving you a better build quality. It's going to be giving you better cameras on the back, which we'll talk about. It's going to be giving you, a better feeling phone on the backside as well with that frosted glass back. So there are a lot of advantages with something like the Samsung Galaxy S25, but the Galaxy S21 still feels okay for the most part. But the biggest thing with the Galaxy S21, and the main reason why this phone is still kind of relevant, is the price tag. The Galaxy S21 costs $186 on Amazon. The Galaxy S25 costs $799. So you really have to kind of consider it from a price tag standpoint, because the Galaxy S21 doesn't cost that much compared to the Galaxy S25. So if you're looking at it from that way, the Galaxy S25 definitely kind of ends up looking like a very expensive phone compared to the Galaxy S21. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there too. Now on top of that, when it comes down to their cameras, both of them are giving you triple camera setups on the backside, but keep in mind that the Galaxy S21 is giving you a 12 megapixel wide angle lens, 64 megapixel telephoto lens, then a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, where the Galaxy S25 is giving you a 50 megapixel wide, 10 megapixel telephoto, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. So it is really interesting because you're kind of flip-flopping the megapixel count on some of these. In some ways the Galaxy S21's camera is a higher megapixel count, and other ways the Galaxy S25 is. At the core though, they're both giving you 4K at 60 frames per second on the front and the back. However, on the back side, you do actually end up getting a little bit of an interesting type of layout here. On something like the Galaxy S25, you do actually end up getting 8K at 30 frames per second, on the backside. So that right there is actually a really big advantage for that type of phone. Being able to go through and get that type of capability is actually a really awesome thing. And you are essentially going to be getting that type of layout on something like the Samsung Galaxy S25. Like, that is a very good camera, much better resolution. You can film it on the backside, at least higher frames per second. But even at that, I will still tell you, with something like the Samsung Galaxy S21, this camera is still not that. It can still give you like a pretty decent experience. And I would imagine, and I would think, like, if you are going to go through and pick up a phone, that is a pretty decent performing device in my personal opinion. And that is actually something that I actually like a lot. And if you are able to go through and pick up a device, that's a pretty solid option for sure. So in my personal opinion, that camera, that type of, the Galaxy S25 definitely wins, but the S21 is still a very solid option as well. When it comes down to the software longevity, this is the trickier part here. So the Galaxy S21, for the most part, is pretty much, already kind of done getting software support. And that's kind of the problem that we're kind of experiencing. That type of device is not really going to be getting any more software updates anymore. So you are much better off buying a device that is still going to be giving you software updates for the future. The Galaxy S21, it's basically kind of done by the time you buy it. The Galaxy S25, though, is literally just getting started with software updates. So with something like the Samsung Galaxy S25, that phone is literally getting started as of this point, and that in and of itself is a pretty big difference here. Like, if I'm going to go through and pick up a device, I really would love to be able to buy a phone that's going to be giving me software updates for a long period of time, and that's where the Galaxy S25, really wins that, with 7 years of software updates. So that right there is a very big thing. In terms of battery, they're both giving you 4,000 mAh batteries. I did actually just come off making a battery comparison between these two phones and a lot of other devices. The Galaxy S21 did good, but the Galaxy S25 outlasted the Galaxy S21 by quite a bit. I think by the time the S21 died, I think my Galaxy S25 still had like 30+% battery life in it. So you could see that there's a pretty big difference when it comes down to it from that side as well. Now, performance-wise, the Galaxy S21 had a pretty good chipset inside of it, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 chipset inside, with 8 gigs of RAM. The Galaxy S25 is giving you the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset inside with 12 gigs of RAM. So between both, you're definitely getting a really good amount of RAM and a really good experience between both as well. And that is actually something that I like a lot between both these devices. Like, being able to go through and get either one of these phones, I think is a really big deal. But the Galaxy S25, in my personal opinion, definitely wins when it comes down to the performance capability. Like, that type of phone is really dominating it when it comes down to the performance side. And that is something that I actually like a lot between both these phones. Like, with the Galaxy S21, the performance is actually still pretty decent and it's not really that terrible, but the Galaxy S25 definitely wins here in my personal opinion as well. So overall, if I can sum it up, I definitely would tell you that something like the Samsung Galaxy S25, this is a better phone, better display, better camera, better build quality, better performance, better longevity, pretty much everything better across the board. And if you are going to buy a phone, the Galaxy S25 is the one I'd recommend going with. I don't really think, though, I would even recommend buying a Galaxy S21 anymore. And the reason for that is because it's outdated with software. Luckily for you, there are a lot of phones in between these that I would also recommend buying. Phones like the Samsung Galaxy S21, sorry, not the S21, the S23. The Galaxy S23 is a really good phone. The Galaxy S24 is also a really good phone. And any of the FE models in between, I think I would also recommend buying. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there for the most part. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.